Welcome to Good Night Sleep. My name is Kevin, and your sleep story is just about to begin. The first rays of sunlight stream in through the window of the Jedi Temple. Still groggy, you take a moment to center yourself and prepare for the day ahead. Today is an important one, as it marks another milestone in your Jedi training. Rising from your simple cot, you splash your face with cool water and dress in your customary robes. You pause to attach your lightsaber securely to your belt, feeling its familiar weight at your hip. The weapon has become more like an extension of your own body after all these years of intense training. Exiting your quarters, you make your way swiftly through the maze of corridors comprising the ancient temple. Jedi of various ranks pass to and fro, but you only focus on your destination ahead. Eventually, you arrive at the training grounds, an open-air courtyard dominated by an ornate fountain in its center. Small groups of padawans like yourself go through practice combat sequences under the watchful eyes of Jedi Masters. You spot your own master across the courtyard and make your way over, bowing respectfully in greeting. Your master surveys you appraisingly. Are you prepared for today's test? You nod. I am, Master. Though you keep your face impassioned, internally you feel a twinge of nerves. Today you will face the trial of skill, undergoing a series of physical challenges to assess your mastery of the Jedi arts. Passing will represent a major step towards transitioning from Padawan learner to Jedi Knight. Failure is not an option in your mind. Your master seems to sense the flicker of anxiety within you. Placing a hand reassuringly on your shoulder, he reminds you to simply focus on the present and trust in the Force. You draw a deep, calming breath and recenter yourself. You know all your years of intense training have prepared you for this very moment. At your master's signal, you follow him from the training grounds towards a towering temple structure used for the trials. Other Jedi nod respectfully as you pass by, well aware of the significance of this day. Your pulse quickens as you ascend the steps and pass through the towering stone archway. Within is a vaulted chamber with a very high ceiling. Strange obstacles and configurations of platforms and poles occupy the space. High above, other Padawans can be seen navigating the challenging course. This will test both your physical agility and mastery over the Force. Your master directs you to step forward and take your starting position on a platform near the ground. You do so, peering up to study the daunting course. You spot places where you will need to harness the Force to enhance your jumps or carefully direct your falls. Taking another measured breath, you clear your mind a nod to your master that you are indeed ready and focused. At his signal, you leap forward, using the force to propel yourself upward onto the vertical pole. You manage to land deftly atop it in a one-legged stance, already working to maintain perfect balance. The height is dizzying, but you pay it no mind, attuning yourself only to the obstacles immediately before you. Timing your jump carefully, you lunge sideways to grasp the swinging rope that will carry you across a deep chasm to the next platform. The rope arcs wildly as you sail across open space and use the force to land in a solid crouch on the platform edge. Without pausing, you turn and fling yourself nimbly over a low barrier, then drop into a smooth, controlled roll to pass beneath a row of swinging obstacles. You move through the course fluidly, never rushing. You draw deeply on your connection to the Force, allowing it to guide your hands and feet to precision positions exactly when needed. From balance beams to narrow ledges to enemy droid simulations, you meet every challenge with calm composure. Years of relentless training have honed your body to move instinctively in concert with the Force's guidance. Before you even realize it, you are leaping powerfully to grasp the final landing platform up on the ceiling. Hauling yourself upwards, you sprint across the platform and slap your hand to the glowing crystal suspended at the course's end. As you do, a resonant hum reverberates through the chamber and the platform beneath your feet slowly lowers back to the floor. Down below you see your master waiting with an approving gleam in his eyes. "Well done, my young padawan," he says, as you step off the platform. "You have passed the trial of skill most impressively. I am proud of how far you have come." You bow your head, allowing yourself to feel a small glow of satisfaction at his praise. "Thank you, Master, but I know there are still many trials ahead if I am to become a Jedi Knight." He smiles and clasps your shoulder. "Indeed, but I have no doubt you will succeed if you maintain such focus." He gestures towards the archway. "Come now, and after some rest and nourishment there will be one final trial for you to undertake today." Intrigued, you follow him from the vaulted room towards the temple refectory. Your muscles pleasantly ache and hunger gnaws at your belly after the strenuous trial. As you eat with your master, he explains the final trial you must face today, the trial of the flesh. You listen intently, knowing it represents another traditional milestone in your training. All Padawans must undergo painful ritual branding, scored by laser upon their forearms. This serves as a reminder to forever resist the temptations of the flesh. You steel yourself, hiding any anxiety. With your master, you make your way to the ritual chamber deep within the temple. The dark, windowless room is lined with cold stone. In its center sits the branding table, ancient and worn. your master directs you to sit and extend your left arm. You do so without hesitation, palm up. From the shadows, the priestess emerges. Her face is masked and she moves with solemn grace. Silently, she activates the laser branding tool. Crimson light flares, gloom as she positions it over your bare forearm. You do not flinch away. There is a brief flash of searing heat and pain as she presses down. Your nostrils fill with an acid burning scent, but you remain still, jaw clenched. When the priestess lifts the branding tool, you see a raw, blackened symbol now seared into your flesh. The first mark. The pain radiates hotly up your arm, but you push it aside, steadying on your breathing. Again and again over the next hour, the priestess works in silence, leaving 3 sacred marks up and down each forearm. Your master observes stoically as you accept each brand with silent resilience. At last, it is done. Your arms throb, and the 12 marks stand out angry and inflamed against your skin. But you merely incline with your head respectfully to your master and the priestess, before rising to exit the ritual chamber. This pain is only temporary. You understand the sacred role these marks will play in reinforcing your commitment to the Jedi path. Stepping back out into the temple corridors, you feel an undeniable sense of accomplishment. Just one padawan among many. You have faced and overcome 2 difficult trials today. Your connection to the Force feels amplified by these intense experiences. You know you are one step closer to knighthood. With evening approaching, you follow your master into one of the temple's tranquil gardens. Side by side, you meander along the gravelled paths between artfully tended plants and trickling fountains. Your master instructs you to reflect upon what you have so far learned and how to apply it wisely moving forward. You walk in contemplative silence, hands folded within your robes as you consider it all. The beauty and peace of your surroundings gradually lead your mind to stillness. For a time, you think of nothing at all, simply existing in the present moment and drinking in the living force flowing through this garden. The throb of your flesh brand seems to fade into the background, but even this serenity cannot silence a small kneading doubt that has lingered in the back of your mind for some time now. Since your early days as a youngling, some masters have sensed in you an unusually strong connection to the Force. Their praise has fueled your dedication to becoming a powerful Jedi. But on occasion, during meditation or trials of combat, you have felt something else. For just a fleeting second, a surge of hot anger or pride has spiked through you in response to pain or frustration. It is over in an instant, but you still fear these passing shadows may betray the existence of darker tendencies underlying your outward discipline. You've learned about the Sith and the corrosive dangers of emotion. So you have worked hard to smother any flickers of passion over the years. Yet, a small worm of doubt persists about whether the teachings of the Jedi are the only valid path. You have witnessed how fear, anger, and aggression can provide fuel for action. Maybe passion could lend you even greater strength if harnessed correctly. Realizing your thoughts have wandered down an unwise path, you draw a sharp breath and force your mind back once more. Such doubts lead only to the dark side, or so you have been taught. For years, the light side of the Force has guided you well. You must trust in your training and ignore these passing moments of weakness. Your future lies on the Jedi path, if only you stay true to their wisdom. The sun sinks low below the temple rooftops as you complete another loop of the garden path. Realizing the late hour, your master turns to you with an approving nod. It seems we have walked enough for today, my young padawan. Get some rest. Tomorrow your training will continue, as it must until you are ready for the trials of knighthood. Together you make your way into the temple and bid each other good night. Returning to your modest sleeping quarters, you change into some simple sleep clothes and lower your aching body down onto your narrow cot. Lying flat and still in the darkness, you reflect over all that transpired today. 2 trials behind you now. More lie ahead, along with the looming question of whether you have the fortitude to pass them without faltering. You are confident you possess the physical skills required of a Jedi Knight, but you know the devotion to the service, self-sacrifice and self-control expected of a knight may be more difficult. Once again, that flicker of doubt returns. Does part of your eagerness for promotion come from a place of ambition and pride rather than humble service? You crave the respect and power of a knight. Perhaps the Sith embrace of passion would not lead you so astray after all. You force the treacherous thoughts away, angry at yourself. The dark side is seductive. You see that now. It has planted insidious seeds of temptation within you that must not take root. The light side of the Force has guided you this far. You must continue to trust in the wisdom passed down in the Jedi teachings, no matter how fleeting doubts may trouble you. There is no passion. There is peace. Repeating the comforting mantra, you clear your mind and calm your breath. You focus only on the present until you feel your anxieties and misgivings fade. The code reminds you that you walk the right path. With the Force as your ally, you shall pass the trials in time and finally take your place as a Jedi Knight. You awaken well before sunrise, feeling rested and focused after a night of dreamless sleep. Today will be yet another of intense training on the path to knighthood. Going through your morning routine, you dress swiftly in rugged Jedi attire. You take a moment to examine the fresh ritual brands on your arms, still red and inflamed. The throbbing pain grounds you firmly in the present. This is the life you have chosen. There can be no turning from the Jedi path now. Moving with quiet purpose through the torchlit temple corridors, you make your way towards the training grounds. Only the most dedicated students and masters are up at this early hour. In the pre-dawn chill, you begin your daily regimen of meditation, stretching, and martial art forms. You flow smoothly from one disciplined movement to the next until your blood sings with energy purified by the force flowing through you. As the sun breaches the horizon, more Jedi gradually emerge for morning instruction. You join your peers in unarmed combat drills overseen by Master Dralik, the Temple Sword Master. Though only using practice sticks, you spar with commitment, as if your weapon were a real lightsaber. The sticks crack sharply with each blow. You press the attack against your partner, focus solely on disarming them decisively. Your aggressive advances seem to perplex the older master, but he says nothing. The training yard grows crowded and loud as the day progresses. After noon meal, you join your fellow padawans in practicing mind tricks and manipulation skills by subtly influencing training remotes and mouse droids. Most struggle with only partially successful results, but you manage to fully override your target's programming on first attempt. Your master raises an eyebrow at your swift mastery of such an advanced technique, but again, he remains silent. Later, as you assemble in the temple archive for Jedi history instruction, you find it difficult to focus. You take only minimal notes above the Great Sith War, and instead your mind turns again to the whispers of temptation that trouble you more and more each day. The Jedi preach control, denial, non-attachment. But are these truly the only worthy goals? Your power and connection to the Force grows stronger by the day. Should you not revel in this gift, rather than constantly restrain it? You become distracted from your conflicted musings when your datapad suddenly buzzes with an urgent summons from your master. Frowning, you swiftly make your apologies to the archives master and exit the hall. Winding your way swiftly through a maze of corridors, you soon arrive at the door to the Jedi High Council chamber. Your pulse quickens. Why have you been called before them so abruptly? The ornate doors slide open and you stride inside. The masters of the council sit ringed around you on raised seats. At the center is Grand Master Yoda, leaning thoughtfully on his gimmer stick as he surveys you. Your own master stands to the side, face unreadable. Master Yoda beckons you forward. Concerned about you, we are, young one. A disquiet in you the masters have sensed. Troubled you seem. You bow your head respectfully, unsure how to respond. Disconcerted whispers sound between the other masters. Into the tense silence, Your own master speaks. Please, tell us truthfully what burdens your thoughts, my padawan. We only wish to help guide you. What troubles you so? You raise your eyes cautiously. How can you express the doubts that plague you without revealing the dangerously un-Jedi-like thoughts that spawn them? But these are the High Council Masters. You cannot lie to them. Forgive me, Masters, you say slowly. But I confess I have begun to question whether the Jedi Code provides the only valid path. Emotions and passion can be powerful tools, yet we are taught to deny them. I only wish to understand why the Jedi way must be so absolute. A ripple of alarm passes through the chamber at your words. Master Yoda's ears lower as he observes you intently. Dangerous thoughts for a Padawan to entertain, he says gravely. Lead to the dark side. Doubt and passion both can. The code, understand, you will with more training. Your own master steps forward, placing a firm hand on your shoulder. Come. Additional meditation will help restore your focus, my Padawan. The masters will continue to guide your training most mindfully. He leads you firmly from the chamber before you can argue further. But you sense a subtle shift in how the council now regards you. Their wariness has been awakened. For better or worse, you realize you can never be just another anonymous Padawan to them now. The rest of the day passes tensely. During meditation, your thoughts keep turning back to the council's suspicion and whispers of the dark side. You feel anger and defiance simmering beneath your outwardly serene facade. How dare they judge you for daring to question? These rebellious emotions boil over later during a fierce sparring match with another apprentice. He manages to slip through your guard, delivering a stinging blow to your shoulder that brings you to one knee. For a split second, rage explodes through you. Calling deeply on the Force, you surge back to your feet and press a savage counterattack, driving your partner back relentlessly until he loses his footing and tumbles down hard. You stand over him, chest heavying, and training saber still gripped tightly in your fist. A part of you savors the small but absolute victory. Around you, the training yard has gone silent. You feel dozens of eyes turn your way, full of unease at the unchecked fury you briefly unleashed. With great effort, you calm your breath and extend a hand to help your opponent up. But the shared looks of the masters warn they have noticed that moment of slipped control. That night, you find sleep elusive. You toss relentlessly on your narrow cot, struggling in vain to empty your mind as you've been taught. But the events of the day keep replaying in your head. Is it so wrong to feel anger in battle for a moment? You still helped your defeated opponent upward after all. You've done nothing truly irresponsible yet. There is time to master these emotions and find the right balance between passion and peace. Gradually, you become aware of subtle whispers echoing through your turbulent thoughts. The voices have no clear origin or bodies, yet they address you as if they were present in the very room. Startled but intrigued, you sit up in your cot and listen more closely. You need not bow to their outdated orthodoxy, one voice murmurs. You strain your senses, focusing intently on each hushed word. Trust your feelings, not their fraying code, hisses another voice. Passion can be power, young one. Comes a deeper hush. You hesitate, unnerved by the strange wisdom echoing directly within your mind. Who are you? You demand in a whisper. Why do you speak to me? The voices give no direct answer, but you understand with cold certainty. These are the voices of long past Sith, remnants of their teaching seeping from hidden corners of the temple where Sith artifacts were locked away. Their words poison the very air. You should flee this room. Report the dark side whispers to the council at once, but you remain frozen. Some part of you hungering for answers only they seem to offer. The Jedi Masters fear your power. They wish to limit you, hisses one voice. You wet your dry lips. But passion and emotion are the way of the dark side, or so we are taught. Lies. Several voices chorus at once, making you wince. The Force is beyond light or dark. You have felt it. A greater power waiting within you. Do not deny yourself for the Jedi's sake. Their arguments take root in your conflicted mind. Perhaps these disembodied Sith are right after all. Passion can fuel strength, just as peace makes one's wise. Two halves of a greater truth. But no. With great effort you force their oily whispers from your mind, rejecting their poisoned words. However valid their teachings may once have been, you know nothing good can come of heeding voices that clearly seek only to corrupt you. You must go to the council at dawn and inform them of this threat within their own temple walls. The voices hiss and cry out as you force them into silence through sheer willpower. Tomorrow you will be free from their influence. Your faith in the way of the light remains absolute. No matter how persuasive the dark side's empty promises may be. For now, finding your calm center once more, you sink back onto your cot and focus only on each breath until you drift off into untroubled sleep. But the next day, you find you cannot bring yourself to tell the council about the disembodied voices that haunt your chamber. Admitting you listen to Sith whispers, however briefly, will only deepen their mistrust in you. No, better to keep this incident to yourself. You will simply be more vigilant in guarding yourself against the dark side's lures. In subtle ways over the following weeks, you sense the Council's wariness of you growing. Conversations hush abruptly when you enter chambers. The practice of unarmed forms or cooperative exercises are suggested rather than combat drills when you are paired with another apprentice. When you try to check out holocrons containing teachings of ancient Sith or Dark Jedi from the archives, you are gently but firmly redirected to more orthodox Jedi texts. Their thinly veiled distrust angers you, but you swallow it down beneath a veneer of humble cooperation. After all, you have not actually strayed from the proper path, though doubtless they watch closely for any misstep. You tell yourself patience and adherence to the code will win back their faith soon enough, and yet a contrary voice seems to whisper within that perhaps you will never fully prove yourself to these rigid masters. This uneasy tension persists for many months as your training progresses. Outwardly, you are a model student, hardworking, respectful, and eager to continue learning the Jedi way. Inwardly, you must constantly battle back flickers of pride, anger, and resentment that feel increasingly natural to you. But you will become a Jedi Knight soon. You are certain of it. The trials of knighthood are nearly within your grasp. The time finally arrives when one morning you are unexpectedly summoned to the council chamber. You enter to find the entire council present, Masters Yoda and your own master at the center. After solemnly motioning you forward into the center of the ring of seats, your master speaks. Nearly complete your trials are, young one. Only the trial of the spirit remains. The deepest test of a Jedi's connection to the Force, beyond the physical. But ready for this final step towards knighthood, the Council judges you to be. Your heart leaps at his words. This is the chance to finally prove yourself once and for all and take your rightful place as a knight. Outwardly, you simply bow and reply solemnly, "Thank you, Masters. I am ready for whatever final trial you ask of me." Yoda nods, peering at you closely. Eager for knighthood you seem, young one. A complex trial this will be. Prepare, you must. You do not object to his dire tone, but cannot fully contain your excitement. You are so close. Soon enough, you are following your master down into the ancient catacombs beneath the temple along with one other council member. The air grows cold and stale as you descend through the torchlit tunnels far below the surface. At last you arrive in a small circular chamber. Ancient Sith artifacts and symbols line the walls and pillars, sparking a sense of darkness and foreboding. This place has been sealed away to neutralize the power of such dangerous relics, you realize. Master Yoda hobbles to the room's center where a heavy stone trapdoor seals off access to whatever awaits below. He gestures with his stick. There, you will face the final trial. Descend you must, and confront what lurks in the darkness. Your pulse races, but you step forward without hesitation. As you grasp the iron ring set in the door to wrench it open, your master stops you with a hand on your shoulder. Remember, this trial is not a test of arms or combat skill. Mastery over the deepest shadows within is what makes a true Jedi Knight. Trust in the Force to guide you. You nod, seizing your efforts to open the door. Slowing your excited breath, you close your eyes and re-center yourself in the light. The Force flows through you, granting patience and purpose. When you feel properly grounded, you look to Yoda and bow your readiness. He closes his eyes solemnly. Then go. The Force be with you. Taking a deep breath, you heave open the trapdoor. A waft of cold, stale air rises from the opening as you peer down into absolute darkness. You clip your lightsaber securely to your belt, gather your courage, and descend slowly into the void. The ancient stone steps are uneven and slippery beneath your boots. You keep one hand against the rough wall to guide yourself downward with slow, measured steps. The feeble light from your open door above is soon lost as you leave the torch-lit chamber behind. Your world now becomes nothing but impenetrable shadows, but you channel the Force inwards like a beacon, keeping your mind calm and focus steady. The temperature drops sharply as you continue descending. Each breath emerges as ghostly puff before your face. Just as you are about to risk summoning a palmful of light, your boot finally touches level floor instead of another step. You have reached the bottom of the hidden tunnel. Straightening, you extend your senses, probing cautiously out through the Force into the darkness shrouding you. Eerie silence answers. The air down here feels dead and still, almost too thick to breathe. You fight back a shiver of foreboding. The darkness seems watchful, expectant. Some trial awaits you here indeed. Gathering your courage, you ignite your lightsaber. The glowing blue blade provides welcome illumination, but only just barely pieces the vast subterranean gloom before you. Weapon clenched tight in your fist, you move forward one slow step at a time. Your footsteps crunch softly on the sandy floor. Gradually your vision adjusts to discerning vague shapes in the deeper darkness. Ancient crumbled pillars, still stone sarcophagi atop rotting plinths, and the strangest of all, fonts of some liquid placed at intervals along the shadows. This place is clearly an untouched ancient crypt sealed away millennia ago, until the Jedi Order discovered it, buried far beneath a temple. You have arrived expecting a trial by combat with some creature long imprisoned down here. But nothing stirs as you creep cautiously forward. Only ominous silence prevails, the crypt filled with the echoed memories of the dead. Perhaps this trial will prove to be one of courage in the face of the unknown. If so, you are determined to prove your readiness by bravely mastering this darkness. But as you continue along the sandy path between ominous tombs and sarcophagi, a new sound arises. A chorus of eerie whispers that seem to emanate from everywhere and nowhere all at once. Cold unease trickles down your spine. These are not the whispers of any language, ancient or modern. More like the murmurs of lost souls denied true rest, even in death. You strain your senses, but your eyes piece no further through the gloom. The whispers rise, echoes oddly between the crypt walls, then fades again. Their unnatural voices set your teeth on edge, but you force yourself to continue onward. Strange faded carvings and glyphs adorn the next row of tombs as you pass. You trail your fingers over their time-worn edges, struggling to decipher their meaning. Just then, a new sound arises that turns your blood to ice. A sinister, disembodied chuckle coming from close behind you. You whirl, lightsaber blazing, but only empty darkness fills your vision. Breath tight in your chest, you extend your senses to their limit but feel no presence in the force to betray the source of that sound. Gripping your weapon tighter, you press down on the path between forgotten tombs. Again comes that ominous laugh, closer now as if someone unseen tracks your steps. Who's there? You demand, struggling to keep the fear from your voice. Show yourself. No answer comes but for another chuckle, echoed eerily at the back. You remind yourself this is surely some illusion or trick, a test of courage rather than combat. Taking deep breaths, you force yourself to keep putting one foot before the other down the shadowy path, pushing ahead through the whispered voices and lurking presences just outside the fragile circle of blue light surrounding you. Eventually, the path opens up into a wide circular chamber ringed by pillars. At its center lies a sarcophagus atop a cracked obelisk. The ancient tomb looks to be the crypt's main focal point. Swallowing hard, you creep toward it, lightsaber held warily at your side. Strange ruins adorn the crumbling edifice. You circle it slowly, wary of any concealed threat, but only silence greets you now. Steeling yourself, you place a hand cautiously on the dusty sarcophagus lid. Exerting slow, steady force and hand pressure, you push aside the massive stone cover until it topples heavily off the obelisk. Peering within the shadowed niche thus revealed, you find a humanoid skeleton garbed in rotten finery crumbling to dust. It shows no signs of stirring to unnatural life. This long entombed ruler will remain at rest. Brow furrowed in puzzlement, you turn away from the despoiled burial vault. Clearly, no literal monster awaited you here, as expected. Perhaps simply descending to confront the domain of the dead was trial enough for the council. Your thoughts are interrupted by a new sound. a visceral sloshing noise from somewhere close behind. You whirl, lightsaber raised in anticipation of some shambling horror risen from a violated tomb. But again, only empty darkness surrounds you. The mysterious sound comes again from off to your left now. A moist, thick, liquid noise, followed by an eager gulping. A drop of cold dread trickles down your spine at the chillingly familiarity of it. No, it cannot be. You stand rooted, staring wildly about for the source. Again comes that visceral noise of drinking deeply from some unseen font. Too late you realize the peril. The bone-jingling sound issues from one of the liquid-filled basins you passed earlier. Those still fountains contain no ordinary refreshment, but some unholy dark power never meant to be drunk by living throats. Even as recognition dawns, awful cackles rise up from multiple directions at once. You ignite your lightsaber to dispel the shadows whirring wildly in search of attackers. But only your own echoing, panting breaths answer in the vast blackness. No one and nothing appears, and yet you sense the presence of hungry shadows drawing slowly nearer. With building dread, you realize the cold truth. You have violated this ancient crypt, and in doing so awakened an insidious evil that stalked these halls eons before the Jedi ever built their temple overhead. By your intrusion, you have stirred to flickering unlife the very spirits of the entombed Sith Lords themselves. And having stirred them, you ignited their thirst anew. Their thirst for living Force energy. Even as this chilling revelation strikes you, the disembodied cackles surrounding you shift abruptly to savage, inhumane snarls. The brooding silence shatters into a cacophony of shrieks, howls, and screams from every direction at once. The sound is deafening, felt deep in your bones. Otherworldly shapes flicker at the corner of your vision, circling hungrily. You stand frozen in primal terror as the maelstrom rages around you. Never has your skill with a lightsaber or command of the Force felt so meaningless. These are not monsters of matter and flesh, but rather apparitions born of unbridled fury unleashed from millennia of imprisonment. Even your fearless master would be paralyzed in the face of such unrestrained dark side wrath. As one, the shrieking horde converges upon you, their hurricane fury blotting out all sight and sound. Icy talons rake your essence as the spirits vie to feast first on your living force. Sheer agony shrieks through every fibre of your being as vampiric entities rip and tear mercilessly. You are helpless, weightless, unmade. With a final defiant spark of will, you grasp for your last lifeline, the light side of the Force. Calling on it as never before, you drive back the gnashing spirits with a blast of pure light from within. The touch of grace and life repels them. The grasp recoils in pain from your luminous aura. howling curses, the hosts fall back into their hungry dark. Your essence crashes back into your body, leaving you grasping on hands and knees, shuddering uncontrollably. Never have you been so close to absolute dissolution of self. You cling desperately to the roots of light still holding you there. But even as you quaver in the aftermath, you sense the barest flicker of disappointment within. For just a heartbeat, that unlimited power could have been yours to drink deeply of. Shuddering, you slam a metal door on the dark thought. This place has done its work on you, but you must rise above its influence. Weakly, you gain your feet and stumble back down the lightless path between cursed tombs to the exit waiting above. The ravenous whispers hound your steps, but dare not draw nearer to the aura of light again. At last you drag yourself up the final worn steps and push open the trapdoor. Gentle torchlight washes over you, sublime after so long below. Your master and Yoda stand exactly as you left them, unmoving guardians. Concern flickers in your master's eyes as you stagger gratefully back into the chamber. What did you face down there? He asks intently. You emerge gravely shaken, my padawan. You open your mouth but hesitate, momentarily unsure how to even describe the horrors. In the end, you simply state hoarsely, I looked into the void between life and death, but the light guided me back. Yoda peers at you closely, as if glimpsing the wounds not visible to flesh eyes. Finally he nods. Then your trial is complete. A Jedi Knight now, you are. But watch, you still must, for incomplete training leaves lingering darkness. Guard against pride and fear you must, as all masters do, lest from the light your steps should stray. You kneel respectfully, steadying yourself against lingering tremors of cold dread. Thank you, masters. I swear to uphold the Jedi Code with diligence. Your master smiles, offering a hand to help you rise. Then come. A knight must forge their own weapon. The materials await you in the crystal caves. There, you will meditate on your path forward. Together you make your way up through the catacombs into the warmer air once again. The cold of that place remains coiled inside you, a secret memory of unbound power never fully forgotten. The light side must be your guide from here onward, you remind yourself firmly. And yet, a new thought rises unbidden. Why must the two halves forever war? In the depths, you tap both light and the dark, as needed to survive. With balance and wisdom, perhaps the two could even work in harmony. But you swiftly silence the dangerous reflection. From now on you must focus only on the Jedi way, as taught since your youth. The Council will be watching closely, patience and trust in traditional teachings are your path ahead. For now, you release the troubling encounter from your thoughts and turn your focus to finding the right kyber crystal deep within glittering caves. Soon, you will hold a knight's weapon. A new phase of your journey lies ahead, wherever the Force may lead. You make your way through the torchlit tunnels with your master, descending into the ancient crystal caves buried beneath the Jedi temple. The air grows warmer and takes on a glittering quality as you go deeper. Soon, the cramped tunnel opens up into a soaring cavern studded with kyber crystals of every size and hue. Their facets shine like stars in the darkness. Your master guides you to a small meditation chamber carved into the cave wall. Sit, center yourself, and let the Force guide your hand to the crystal meant for you. With that cryptic instruction, he withdraws, leaving you alone surrounded by the thrumming song of the kybers. Settling onto a flat stone bench, you regulate your breathing and open your mind, allowing the living Force to flow through you. The susurrus of the crystals swell until it fills your awareness completely. You sit in stillness, one with the luminous gem's harmonic resonance. Gradually, you become aware of a single pure note rising above the rest. You open your eyes, immediately drawn to the one unassuming crystal emitting a bright, ultrasonic chime. Hardly the largest kyber, but you know intrinsically this one calls to you. Rising, you approach it, where it sprouts from a crevice in the cave wall. You lay out your hand gently over its smooth facets. A startling clarity rings through your mind at the contact. This is the heart of the blade that will serve and define you henceforth as a Jedi Knight. Gripping the crystal firmly between both hands, you exert slow, steady pressure through the Force. With a musical crack, the gem comes free in your hands, leaving the crystal's dust to drift down. You lift your kyber triumphantly, admiring its inner fire. Already your saber takes shape in your mind's eye. You spend the next several days in your quarters, focused on constructing the hilt that will contain your crystal. Guiding hands and Force through meticulous work, you shape an elegant but simple metal cylinder grip. Once satisfied, you seal your crystal securely within, completing your first lightsaber. The finished hilt sits heavy in your hand, awaiting its activation. Closing your eyes, you reach out with your feelings and brush the ignition switch with the Force. A sudden snap hiss splits the air, followed by the iconic sound of a lightsaber blade igniting. You open your eyes to behold your weapon thrumming before you. Its glowing blue plasma blade reflected in your eyes. Over the next few weeks, your training progresses to honing mastery over your new blade. Your movements flow smoothly from one form to the next in sparring matches. The saber becomes like an extension of your own body, perfectly balanced and attuned to your touch. In combat drills against remotes, you deflect incoming stun bolts with rapid reflexes earned through long practice. Finally, the day arrives when you will face your greatest test yet. Sparring against your own master in the temple training hall. Apprentice defeating master with non-lethal blades remains one of the final rituals in becoming a full Jedi Knight. Excitement and anxiety churn within you as you enter the torch-lit hall and ignite the saber with a distinctive snap and hiss. Your master activates his own blade in answer. The blade is an outer expression of the heart. Let us see how far you have come, my former padawan. With a respectful salute, the duel begins. You leap forward, blade angled at a testing first strike. A dizzying clash of blows follows as you feel each other out, blue plasma flashing rapidly. Even one missed parry could mean bruising or burns. You give no quarter, doing your utmost to penetrate your master's guard. He comes dangerously close as you struggle to hold off his fierce experience. With a sharp turn of his wrist, your master feints left and whips his blade in from the right, forcing you into a frantic retreat. You realize he has only been toying with you until now. Jaw clenched, you draw deeply on the force, determined to meet his full, ruthless, offensive strength for strength. You become a vessel, letting power flow through you unchecked. In this state, your reactions take on near precognitive speed, foreseeing each strike before it happens. Together you become a dazzling wheel of lethal motion, boots scuffling wildly on the stone floor. Still evenly matched, the duel seems it may rage without end. But the intensity cannot last. Your master is tiring, reactions slowing fractionally as his age outweighs experience. With startling clarity, you realize the moment to strike has come. Allowing the force to guide your hand, you feint a high slash, then pivot low into an unstoppable thrust. Your blade finds its mark, burying deep in your master's abdomen. You both stand frozen for a terrible moment. Disbelief wars with pained acceptance in your master's face. Then his deactivated lightsaber clatters to the floor alongside your still embedded blade. You have won. You release your hilt as if stung, horrified by what you have done in the intensity of combat. You grab your master's shoulders as he sinks to his knees. Master, forgive me. I did not intend. But he shakes his head firmly, features tight with pain yet composed. No forgiveness needed. You did only what was required for victory. Such is the way of battle. He winces, hand pressed to the grievous wound. Help me to the healing ward. Then go inform the council. Your training is complete. You are a Jedi Knight. Relief and joy mingle with sadness in you as you support him out of the hall. Never would you intentionally have harmed your master in cold blood. But he is right. You dueled as equals, and the victor is decided. By custom and right, you take your place now as knight within the order. Days later, fully recovered from his injury, your master stands once more beside you within the high council chamber. Confer upon you now the rank of Jedi Knight. The Council does. Master Yoda intones solemnly. But remain mindful always of the dangers pride and power present to one strong in the Force. Valuable guidance your Master still provides, though you walk your own path now. You bow your head respectfully. Thank you, Masters. I vow to uphold the code and ideals of the Order. With the ceremony complete, your Master embraces you proudly. You are free to go now, Knight. Trust in the Force's guidance. It has served you this far. Taking your leave, you stride from the chamber with head high. No longer merely another apprentice, you have earned your place, a true Jedi Knight at last. New worlds of possibility seem open before you. In the weeks that follow, you must adjust to the new freedoms and responsibilities of knighthood. No longer tied to a master's side, you undertake solo missions for the Republic, rooting out crime syndicates, mediating trade disputes, protecting civilians in war-torn systems. And like all Jedi, you stand as guardian of justice in the galaxy. Between assignments, you return to the temple where your presence now commands newfound respect in the halls. Between assignments, you return to the temple where your presence now commands newfound respect in the halls. Padawans gaze at you with admiration. Rumors of your uncompromising dueling victory have spread. Some Jedi maintain cool reserve, as if uncertain what to make of your potential. But you pay them little mind. When not on missions, you dedicate time to academic research and the archives. Something continues to draw you to seek out forgotten Sith teachings and rituals, though you tell yourself your interest is merely scholarly. Tactics used against the enemy must be understood, after all. You have your own temple quarters now with more privacy to meditate and reflect. Kneeling on the floor one night, surrounded by open Sith texts, an astonishing thought strikes you suddenly. The Jedi and Sith orders need not exist in endless opposition as commonly believed. Truly, there are two sides to the Force, light and dark, but what if the discord lies not in the Force itself, but only in the Order's inability to see they each manifest but half of a whole? What if light and dark could be reconciled through balance instead of endless war? Passion tempered by peace, strength sustained by grace. You sense this has been the true crux of your inner conflict since youth. An unwillingness to deny any aspect of the Force, no matter how you've tried to purge feelings deemed inappropriate by the orthodox Jedi. In your heart of hearts, you've always known it should not be so. Could any other Jedi understand if you tried to explain this revelation? No. Old habits and fears run too deep in the Order. But perhaps in time the truth may be gently spread by your example, if nothing else. For now you must walk the knife's edge alone, seeking balance between the two sides. The Force is neither light nor dark, but simply the Force. In all its beautiful, terrible totality, you realize this with calm certainty. You close the Sith text, mind ablaze with budding possibilities. The passing years will reveal what shape your newfound understanding may take. For now, you're ready for sleep. The next years are filled with more solo missions to widening corners of the Republic, along with periods of study and reflection back at the temple. You befriend other open-minded knights and pass on gently your unconventional views on embracing emotions without being consumed by them. Some nod thoughtfully at your speeches, others remain unmoved. Yet you persist. Progress is incremental, but you are patient. Frustratingly, though, the Council's distrust towards you lingers, perhaps even grows. They speak diplomatically enough during mission briefings, but their hawk-like scrutiny of your every move, word, and report leaves you simmering. After decades of devoted service, they still wait watchfully for any sign of deviation from orthodoxy. You take care to shield your true feelings when around them, presenting only a projection of the ideal Jedi Knight they expect you to be. Better not to provoke them needlessly before your influence grows. And yet, a rebellious part of you hungers for the freedom to embrace and speak all your insights without prudent restraints. For now, you curb your tongue. There may come a time to act boldly, but it has not yet arrived. For now, you seek outlets elsewhere. During lengthy hyperspace journeys, you practice with your lightsaber to hours on end, honing your skills even sharper. You delve deeper into obscure sorceries in the archives, no longer caring if your interest seems suspicious. When pursuit of a target gets drawn out, you tap increasingly into aggression and even satisfaction upon finally exacting justice. True darkness has no hold over you. You rely on passions without being mastered by them, or so you believe. In quiet moments of meditation, a small voice sometimes questions whether you toe to a precarious line. Passion and emotion by nature seek to control and consume if not checked. Have you truly mastered balance as you claim, or only slipped further in a gradual descent down a darkened path? You silence the boresome doubts fiercely. The Force guides you, and your connection to it only grows mightier. Serenely, you continue on your self-appointed path, until one fateful mission changes everything. The Council summons you to investigate a hidden readout of the Sith, where stolen Jedi artifacts are allegedly being stored. Such a sacrilege cannot be allowed to persist. The Council orders you to infiltrate swiftly and destroy the entire complex before it vanishes again. Landing your starship discreetly amidst desert mesas on a remote world, you stealthily approach the ancient stone temple under moonlight. The dark side hangs heavy here. Strange shrieks echo from within, along with a pulsing crimson glow in the carved window slits. Your lightsaber thrums to life in your hand, casting your face in icy blue as you prepare to storm the accursed place alone. Shadows swarm alarmingly as you slash your blade through stone and mortar barring entry. The shrieks and pulse intensify in fury. You wade heedlessly through the darkness, dispatching nightmarish creatures with efficiency slashes as you demolish idol, relic, and whatever else crosses your path. In this moment, you are vengeance incarnate, determined to expunge this blasphemy completely. When the last idol crashes to the ground, you stand amidst smouldering rubble, breathing heavily. It is done. No trace remains of the Sith's sacrilege. A wave of grim satisfaction crashes over you. This victory, this righteous annihilation, is only a small taste of the cleansing justice you could one day wreak on all the Sith Order's corrupting influences. But hard on that dizzying thought's heels comes horrifying realization. Force, what have you done? The Council ordered only the artifacts destroyed, not wholesale slaughter. For your motivation just now had not been duty, but raw passion, fury, hatred, thrill of destruction. The very dark side energies you convinced yourself you'd learn to temper and control. A profound numbness spreads through your limbs. For the first time, you truly recognize the line that you have crossed. Passion had gained gradual mastery over you rather than the reverse. Your choices can only lead further down this damned road. To continue would mean forsaking the Jedi path completely. Through the settling smoke appears a figure you had sensed observing hidden in the darkness. An actual flesh and blood Sith. His red blade ignites as he surveys you, standing staggered amidst the smouldering ruins. What a waste, he hisses through his fearsome mask. All that power turned against itself by Jedi programming. You could be so much more if only you dared. Righteous rage flares in you at his words. In answer, you leap through the swirling ashes and lock blades with your foe. A sinister chuckle echoes from his mask as he rapidly drives you back, consumed by darkness, fueled fury, while he retains cold control. Look at you now, the perfect Jedi, he taunts, as your unstable blow glance off his effortless defense. No freedom, no truth, only pathetic denial of your own strength. With a growl, you unleash a reckless whirlwind series of strikes, drawing deep on emotion to try and overwhelm him through sheer force. But your fury blinds you. With almost casual ease he parries, piercing your defenses. His red blade plunges through your chest, just above the heart. Agony and shock crashes over you. Lungs heaving desperately for air, you sink to your knees. Your foe stands over you, tilting his head as if in curiosity. This shadowy executioner once walked the same path as you in his younger days. But he turned from the light completely, seduced by the dark side's temptation of power without limits. And now your futile struggle ends here, unless it did not have to be this way. The Sith muses calmly, as if to himself. You are so close to transcending their lies. He raises his blade dramatically for the finishing blow. With your last flicker of strength, you drop your weapon and raise an empty hand, open palm. No, I see the truth now. Your voice is choked but resolved. There is no strength in passion alone, only ruin. Please, help me back to the light. Your enemy hesitates, snarled words dying in his shadowed throat. Silence hangs over the ruins. Then with a growl of frustration, he deactivates his blade and turns away. Then crawl away and perish, slave of the Jedi. I have better uses for my time than mercy. His boots scrape sharply on the rubble as he moves to leave. Blood bubbles up in your throat as your punctured organs fail. But you just have enough life left to gradually call after his retreating back. There is still hope for you too, my friend. It is never too late. If he makes any response, you do not hear over the roaring in your ears as the world fades. With your remaining heartbeats, you center every fiber of your being back on the light, releasing fear and regret. If this is your end, you choose to meet it in peace and hope, not darkness. You surrender yourself to the Force fully and awaken somehow on the temple landing pad, bandaged and agonized but alive. It seems the Sith showed you one last cryptic mercy in dumping your body here instead of leaving you to rot. Now, by the hands of your Jedi King, you have impossibly been pulled back from the brink of death. They come to you, full of urgency and questions about the mission. But you raise a shaking hand. There will be time later for explanations. Help me relearn the light, you rasp simply. And as they surround your bedside, faces softening in compassion, you feel the first true rays of light begin seeping back in after so long lost in shadow. There can be no going back to what you once were. Scars inside and out will remain. The road to recovering wisdom and balance will be long and painful. But you will walk it once again, one difficult step at a time. Your old arrogance has burned away for good in flames that you helped ignite. With quiet humility, you offer yourself up to the Council's guidance. To your mild surprise, they respond not with distrust but understanding and even relief. Support your steps back, we will, young one, Master Yoda assures you, ancient eyes grave but kind. The greater our gifts, the farther we can fall, but never lost is the light to those who seek it. As your wounds slowly mend under careful Jedi ministrations, you meditate often on the hard lessons circumstances force you to learn. The light cannot flourish untended even in the most noble soul. Its flame must be respected, nurtured, and protected against the winds of dark, which are always ready to extinguish when left unchecked. Passion may have fuel and fire, but only peace grants insight. Through peace comes wisdom and self-control, the safeguards against destruction. Never one can walk the razor's edge between light and dark without eventually losing balance and falling. Your old master's guidance echoes again in your mind. Trust in the Force to guide you. It has served you this far. When you finally take up your lightsaber again for simple practice forms, the familiar weight and hum no longer feels like an outlet for your own power, but just a tool to help protect others when needed. You make a full recovery in time, though the ordeal leaves its mark in unexpected ways. Your connection to the Force emerges changed. Where once you reached eagerly for more power, now you draw only on what you need, channeling the Force more as a gentle stream than raging tempest. Your presence reassures others rather than putting them ill at ease. In you, the Council finally sees balance, and given time they offer you a seat among them. Though initially unsure if you deserve such honor, you accept humbly. From your new position, you provide perspective shaped by difficult experience. When distrustful whispers circulate about dangerous new ideologies spreading through the galaxy, you advocate patience and compassion over reactionary fear. The Republic endures its own trials during this time, but the Order remains a sanctuary of contemplation under your counsel. In later years, as your hair grays and bones grow wearied, you step back from active duties, passing the title of Master to a new generation. You spend your final days in quiet meditation, communing with the living Force, now so much closer as your own living days dwindle. When the end draws near, you have no regrets. Despite stumbling badly once on an overgrown side path, you found your way again with help from others. Your steps walk the proper course once more. Giving your life over to contemplation of the light has awarded you a sense of deep, abiding peace. One day in meditation, you sense your time has come at last. Opening your eyes, you gaze one final time at the light streaming through your chamber windows, and with a deep sigh, you allow your eyes to close and consciously release your grip on life and this material realm. A perfect crystalline silence enfolds your senses as you surrender yourself fully to the Force. Your last distinct sensation is the brush of a feather on your cheek. But there is no sadness in this farewell, only gratitude for the privilege of getting to exist at all. Your journey hand stretches ahead into luminous mystery, and you welcome it sincerely, as spirit returning to spirit. May the light you helped rekindle go on guiding others after your mortal flame has dissolved. With this final thought, you pass gently out of the life you once knew and onward once more.